If Magic beat the Hawks last night, play-in game, Keefe, the path now pretty clear for the Celtics. It'll be Orlando in round 1. It's going to be the winner of New York and Detroit in round 2, and most likely Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals. Your thoughts on that path, beginning with Orlando?
I think it's a fairly easy path. It is not as easy as it was a year ago, obviously. Now, in part, you face a lot of teams that dropped a star player. So if everybody was healthy last year,
right,
the path may have been similar.
Assuming
so if you tell me
Brunson,
Paolo Banchero
right,
and Brunson and Donovan Mitchell are all playing.
Brunson doesn't blow out his knee before round 2, it's automatically a more difficult path than a year ago.
I just think looking at it, and we sort of got this sense as the year played on, was, the Knicks really weren't that great after that big trade that they made. Giannis and the Bucks really aren't this like monster threat. I don't think anybody else has really leaped to that level. Like Indiana, and even the team the Celtics are playing in the first round coming up in Orlando, last year was a pretty good story. Paolo Banchero is a good player, but they're not like a threat by any means.
Do they win a game?
I don't think so.
I'm not even giving them a game.
If
they get a game, I'll be disappointed in the Celtics. That's with or without Jaylen. I've been saying for a while. They should sweep Atlanta, Orlando, whatever team they get. They should sweep them without Jaylen. They don't need Jaylen to sweep these teams. That's how much better they are. You guys all agree. They're all better than all these teams.
Yep.
So they shouldn't drop a game against Orlando in this series. I'm not going to give Orlando a game. I mean, if they get one, I don't think we freak out. Yeah. But I'm not going to give the Magic a game. I don't see how the Magic pick a game off the Celtics.
So the Orlando beat them twice in the regular season. Of course, one of them was the game recently where they didn't play anybody at all. So I would throw that one out altogether.
Tatum didn't play in 2 of the 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, I also would think this Celtics team is so good on the road. They don't qualify for that team that like goes up 2-0 and then drops the game 3 and then figures it out.
No.
I also think they had their issues at home, but in the playoffs, are they going to have issues at home? I don't think so.
No, so Orlando might cover in some of these games
Sure.
and make them like annoyingly close.
Yeah.
Do we even have a look ahead on game 1? I don't know what that would be. But like anything less than 10, I'm sure it's less than 10. I would take the Celtics to win by 10 in a lot of these games.
Yeah.
But like, could Orlando cover it, make it close, and be pesky? Sure. This team can't score. They are a defensive
14.5 point favorites.
I mean, I would probably pick the Celtics to cover that, for God's sakes. So can Orlando make these games close and annoying? Sure. They can make them close and annoying. They can't score. Defensively, they're good. They're a pain for the Celtics. Terp did say this. I meant to fact check this. I'm sure he's right, but I wanted to look at Missoula's record against all these teams. I think he said this is the only team Missoula has a losing record against.
Interesting.
Still don't care.
Yeah. No, I think they're going to be just fine. Thanks.
I think they sweep Orlando. So I don't have big thoughts on that. New York or Detroit, that feels like another, in the case of Detroit, potentially pesky round 2 matchup. They've dominated New York largely all year long. I mean, I don't think it's an overly daunting task this year, but Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Final, assuming their health, is way more difficult than anything the Celtics had to face in any of the rounds last year, finals included.
Yep, I would agree. And they lost 3 games on that whole run last year, and Porzingis was kind of in and out. Now we don't know what's going to happen this year. I mean, Porzingis could be in and out. Jaylen Brown could be not as effective. He's the one that we are circling going into this whole playoff round. So even if it's a little bit tougher, they have room for error. Plus, Jason Tatum wasn't their best player in the conference finals or the NBA finals, which will become a story as this goes on. Like, how is he playing? He's the clear-cut first-team All-NBA guy once again, but is he going to be able to be the best player on the court? Like, is he going to get outplayed by Donovan Mitchell? Is he going to get outplayed by Jaylen Brown even? And if it's Jaylen Brown, like, okay, maybe that's fine, and maybe they can still win that way. But if he's getting consistently outplayed by a guy like Mitchell, or, I mean, maybe even in the second round, maybe the second round won't be a complete cakewalk because one of those teams, I think, is going to have like a good series win, meaning Detroit and New York. Jalen Brunson on one side, Cade Cunningham on another. Whoever emerges from that is going to have a lot of confidence from beating the other team. And then they might have, a game against the Celtics. Tops.
Are you picking Detroit?
I am. Yeah, I'm picking Detroit. I think that's the one lower seed because I'm certainly not picking the Bucks. So I think that's the one lower seed in the East that wins.
Yeah, it's by default going to be more difficult of a pathway than last year, but New York to me was wildly disappointing. If New York was what I thought they were going to be this year,
right.
The Knicks in round 2, the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Final, where you don't have Game 7 on your home floor. I know you struggled at home. We're a great road team this year. I still imagine you'd rather have Game 7 at the Garden than not. So I'd look at that path and go, man, that's difficult. I'm still not afraid of Cleveland. I don't look at this as an overly difficult path. The only team I'm picking head-to-head against the Celtics, if and when they get them, is OKC. That has not changed. And by the way, maybe these odds have updated since the other day. I was looking over the ESPN bet odds. It's close, OKC and the Celtics to win the title, neck and neck, but it's OKC plus 180. It's the Celtics plus 190. Cleveland after that, Lakers fourth, Warriors, oddly enough, fifth as of the other day. So, I mean, the Thunder to me is a real competitive, I don't know if you like this word or not, but scary matchup for the Celtics. They beat them twice head-to-head. They feel like, well, they made moves this offseason, targeting their weaknesses, getting Hartenstein, getting Caruso.
Yeah.
SGA is, if not the MVP, close to the MVP. I'd pick Jokic personally. That's a real scary team. Other than that, they should be back in the NBA Finals, and if they don't get OKC, they should be hoisting a banner.
Yeah, they should definitely be in the NBA Finals. I think them versus the Thunder will be an incredible series. If the Celtics go into that series with their whole roster, I'll take them. If they're going into that series with one of their top 5 guys already ruled out, then I'd probably have to take the Thunder.
I would agree with that.
They have Porzingis or Brown specifically.
I'm taking them 100% healthy. If
Fair.
somebody's out, Porzingis I almost expect to be out, but if it's Jaylen, definitely.
No, I know.
Thunder to beat the Celtics in the NBA Finals is plus 390. Flip it, Celtics to beat the Thunder plus 500.
Okay. Yes, I think the Thunder are going to win. It's
Yeah,
a weird way of saying it, but okay, I understand.
No, but
that
because you're really parlaying 3 things,
right?
Like you're parlaying an Eastern Conference champion,
they
a Western
gotta
Conference
get
champion,
there.
and you need that matchup.
Exactly.
That should be actually even higher odds.
No, true. So I'm looking at Forsberg just tweeted out a picture here of Missoula over at the Garden. I'm sorry, over at the Auerbach Center rather after their practice. So it's a scrum of Missoula and his post practice press conference. Jaylen Brown is scheduled to speak at some point today. I just find that they did this long-ass practice going into the postseason. They were supposed to be done at 11:30. It looks like they just wrapped up. If I'm judging things
might
properly,
have started at 11:30.
Oh, so is that the issue?
Started later.
Oh, okay. I guess I thought we were told they were going to end at 11:30.
But this is one of those times where they gotta do something because they don't play till Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. So you gotta probably have one really hard. Maybe today's that day.
Maybe. So scratch that then. If they start at 11:30, then that's not a crazy long practice. When it comes to Jaylen and his health, Missoula said no restrictions on him. He's fine. He's going to play in round 1. Ramona Shelburne said he's going to play in round 1, by the way.
Yeah.
She just said he's taking shots for pain management in his knee, which I don't love, but she never said he wasn't going to play game 1. So him being like, he's fine. He's going to play in game 1, like that was some revelation.
Yeah, what's he going to look like?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday said he looked fine to me. No questions about him. I have plenty of questions about Jaylen Brown. His production in the month of March and into April was way down. His minutes were way down. What can he handle? Against Orlando, you don't even need him. But let's see how he looks. Because if he's playing poorly and they're still beating Orlando, I'm going to think the Celtics are a little more ripe for the picking by a team like Cleveland, not even New York or Detroit, but a team like Cleveland if he's not right.
Yeah, and they can tell us if there's a minutes restriction or not, but we'll kind of see how the game goes too, just like where he's at.
Yeah, there's been no minutes restriction for him, but he hasn't played over 30 minutes since the last OKC game in the middle of March.
Which he always does.
There's been an informal minutes restriction if nothing else.
Plus, don't you assume that all these guys, you take whatever their season averages were, you kick it up 3 more minutes, it's the playoffs, like they're all going to play a little bit more. There's going to be some games where maybe you even go wire to wire. So that number just on average is going to be much higher. So can Jaylen Brown's knee handle it? Now, this is one thing where, as a fan, it kind of stinks, but for the players, it's for the benefit. There's always days off. There's no back-to-backs in the playoffs. So there's days off. Sometimes there's multiple days off between games in the series. There's usually multiple days off, especially if you wrap up a series early. You're waiting around for a while. So in a weird way, you kind of can manage an injury in the playoffs more than you can maybe any other sport.
It's not a condensed schedule. It's not back-to-back. It's not 4 and 5. It's not a crazy West Coast trip. I mean, all of that's true. So, look, I'll give Jaylen a lot of credit. If he's soldiering through this injury and he's not 100% and they defend the championship, then we'll come out and we'll say, man, this guy wanted it that badly. He's already got his money. But he gutted it out. He soldiered through, and they won again. I'll give retroactively Jaylen a ton of credit. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve credit for trying to play through it. I just wonder what he's capable of if he's not 100%.
Right.
So you guys can jump in on this. Mike is in Boston. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey guys, how's it going? I just think you guys are underestimating these Orlando Magic. I mean, they played us tough this year, and even last year they got us in a couple of games. I mean, I think we're going to win a series, but I don't think we're going to roll over them like you guys think. I think it's going to be a Celtics 6.
If this goes 6,
Wow.
I will start to question if they're going to beat New York or Detroit.
That'd
if
be
it
really
goes
surprising.
6,
Yeah.
you need to go 6 games against Orlando,
That'd be
who
surprising.
cannot score. And I get it. They played you tough in the regular season.
But there's a big caveat there.
Huge.
I mean, one of the games nobody played, so toss that out. One of the losses, right?
Doesn't even count.
So they went 2-1. The Magic did against the Celtics. So then you really have 2 real games. The game you lost, Tatum didn't play. Seems pretty significant.
I feel like you think Tatum's sitting in any of these playoff games?
And then
Jaylen might. I don't think Tatum will.
I think Tatum's going to play. And then the game that they had Tatum, they beat the Magic 121-94. So I think there's going to be more of those games than there's the other ones.
Yeah, so to me...
Yeah, don't just look at the season record on face value. This one's a little bit different.
We've also seen this before. I mean, there's plenty of teams that try hard night in and night out they don't have the talent level in the postseason. I mean, I think we saw this with some of these Celtics teams in the Brad Stevens days. You know,
yeah, they're a good example.
They tried hard
Isaiah
every single
Thomas's
night.
teams, like they got everything they possibly could out of that team.
Avery Bradley and Jay Crowder, nice players, but guess what? Come the postseason, they get exposed. And I think you're going to see that with a team like Orlando.